I want to welcome everybody to the author call, sharing information for one and for all. I want to welcome everybody to the author call. It's the author call. It's the author call. Are you ready to let your inner author rise? Well, join us for a weekly digital info experience with your host, Dr. John L. Mack, streaming live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Revelation, calling all the authors from across the nation. It's time for the author ride. Receive, increase, get your pride. You can do it successfully every.
Well, good afternoon. Hey, this again is Dr. John L. Mack, and I'm back and excited. Today, I'm going to do a little something kind of different to just get you up to the same speed and the same page I'm on. In 1973, 51 years ago, I graduated from high school. And for a lot of you, you wasn't even born. 50 years out of high school, you're an old ancient rat. But this was a unique sandwich type generation. And in the last 50 years, I looked at and started doing some research. I said, what my life feels like it was just so unique and so transparent and so outer worldly. And I think a lot of my generation feel the same way. In the last 50 years, the innovation, the revolutionary technology that's been presented to the to the world, to the economy, to the marketplace has been pretty prolific and pretty profound. Prolific and profound are two different things. Prolific means you're all over the place. Profound means you're deep in that place. So prolific and profound has been really the way I characterize the last 50 years because the technology that was released and implemented into society has completely, and I mean 100%, 2,000% completely reshaped the trajectory and the landscape of life as we know it. So I'm going to share with you 25 unique innovations and technologies that have changed the world that were introduced in the last 50 years. And they're so pervasive, so prolific that we think they've always been here. How could anyone have existed without these innovations and without this technology? And we are even so to the point where even though we saw them before what life was like before these innovations, and now we're looking at it what life is like after these innovations. And the innovations are so unique and incredible that the mind doesn't even want to consider or conceive of a time before these innovations. Whoa. So let me get right into what these innovations are. The first one in the 1980s, and I remember this very, very well because it was kind of you could feel the shifting in the atmosphere. And that was the introduction of the internet. Now, the internet transformed communication, commerce, and access to information by enabling globalization and the rise of the digital age. Wow, that was a mouthful. The internet transformed communication, commerce, and access to information by enabling globalization. So we have a global marketplace rather than just a local marketplace anymore. Now, the second, and this is no particular order, but there's a little weight on the first like 10. So the first thing that made all of this world that we live in today possible was the internet, introduced in the 80s. From the 70s to the 80s was a time of developing personal computers. So that's the second innovation in personal computers. When they said there would be a computer in every home, people must have laughed at them like they done lost their minds. Uh, the cost of developing computing was so vast and incredible at that time period, and the machines were the machines often took up entire rooms or entire buildings because the technology was so new and they hadn't miniaturized it. So vacuum tubes and transistors, all this crazy stuff that was existing, that was the framework or the infrastructure to make the internet and computers happen. It was there, but because they hadn't miniaturized the technology, it was just so huge that it was not possible for the average person to take it and make it portable. So personal computers were a huge innovation, and we just take them so for granted now because this right here has more computing power than the computers in the 70s and 80s. I have more computing power in my phone, in my hand, in my pocket than NASA had available to send a man to the moon. Pretty powerful. The next one is mobile phones. And since we're talking about mobile phones, that we have the internet, we have personal computers, and then the mobile phone and smartphones. That revolutionized everything. How many times have you went halfway to your destination and you reached around and realized I don't have my phone? You turn back around, go all the way back. You're maybe now half hour, an hour late, but you don't care because you've got what you needed. You got that. This is an adrenaline fix. This is more than just communication. This is your life in a little bitty box. So mobile phones and smartphones that revolutionized everything. That took place from the 90s to the 2000s. So the early cell phones were just like big bricks that were huge, and then the smartphone innovation in 2007 with Apple changed everything. This made communication, navigation, and computing portable. You know, I get lost a lot. So with this right here, I put it in. I put my wave in. I put the Google Maps in. And it tells me exactly to the inch where to go. Pretty powerful. Now I remember when my daughter got married several years ago, and she was way out in North Texas somewhere. So we were following the GPS, and we get kind of stuck somewhere, and we were the GPS wasn't working. They didn't have a signal out there. Bottom line, we was almost late for the wedding, and we was traveling all. Nobody knew what we was. It was just crazy. But that takes us to the next point, which is GPS. So we're talking about first off, when we started off with the internet, that's the first innovation. Personal computers, mobile phones and smartphones, GPS, global positioning system. That's what GPS means. That was introduced in the 80s, and it was originally developed for military use. But then GPS revolutionized navigation, enabling precise precision in directions on everything from travel to agriculture. Incredible innovation. And then we want to look at AI. Now, we think that AI just came out like last year, year before. The AI was introduced, artificial intelligence, and how it connects with these devices and these items that I just mentioned, the internet, the computers, phones, GPS. Since 2010, we've been doing things like spell check and the algorithm. All of that has been happening behind the scenes without any name on it. You just say, that gum spell check. Well, today, AI is so pervasive that if you're not aware of it and not utilizing it, you're missing the boat. You're going to be left behind. Other people that are actually utilizing it in the same competitive arena that you are going to far surpass you because if you don't embrace it and utilize it, they will. And the research, the speed, the preciseness, the innovate, all of that puts them at such a decided advantage. If you're not competing in that same level, you're going to get way left behind because AI can do things in an instant that would take months and perhaps years without it. Now, number 6 on this list are social media platforms. Wow. Social media changed how we look at everything, how we look at ourselves, how we look at our children, how we look at our cats, dogs, and food, how we look at babies, and how we look at everything. Uh, Social media and multiple platforms. So this was introduced in the 2000s. Platforms like Facebook, TikTok, Twitter transformed how people connect, how they share information, and how they consume information locally and globally. Huge, huge innovation. Now, one that you really don't give a lot of thought to, I think number 7 is renewable energy technologies. And that started being introduced in the 80s. And even to now, we're seeing innovations in wind, renewable technologies like the batteries, lithium batteries, and with the electric cars, all of that because of the innovation in renewable energy technology. Huge. We talked about the internet being the first one that allows us to be able to have a platform to do all this stuff. But you know what? The one that is often used synonymously with the internet is the World Wide Web. Remember, everything used to start off with www dot. That meant World Wide Web. That was introduced in 1991, almost 32 years ago. And gentleman that introduced it, named Tim Berners-Lee, he created this web to standardize how we access and share information across platforms. Then number nine is e-commerce, and sometimes the words are and the terms have gotten so nuanced that we just think of them as just e-commerce. Well, e-commerce allowed us to have online shopping platforms like Amazon, Alibaba, Shopify, and so it revolutionized retail and logistics. Think about Amazon. Amazon is big warehouses all over the world. People put their stuff into Amazon, and Amazon ships it out for you. Everybody gets paid. It's a pretty big deal. So that e-commerce that started in the 90s is still progressing. Jeff Bezos is one of the richest men in the world because everything flows through that Amazon type system. Now we're gonna go number 10 is cloud computing. Ooh, think about that. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around that because I want to save everything locally to my computer, to my physical computer. But with cloud computing, I'm able to work on a project, go to another computer in another area, maybe even another city or state or country, and click on my account, and it connects me with everything that I've been doing in this effervescent area called the cloud. We can't even describe half of what it is. It's ether. There's nothing tangible about it, but the tangibility is that it actually has reliability and functionability. Then, when you look at the cloud computing, it allowed streaming services. Now, you may not think that's a big deal, but think about streaming like Netflix and all those types of things. Even what I'm doing right now is taking individual photos and data and string and putting it together long term so that you're able to see an actual picture or movie or film. Incredible. So then now we get to Netflix and chill, and platforms like Netflix and Spotify. When you looked at Redbox and what was that big Blockbuster? All of those were just pushed out the way because this technology allowed people to have content on demand. And that on demand content, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Number 12, I think, is blockchain and cryptocurrency. Started in the 80s and up until now, it's still proliferating. Oh my Lord, blockchain technology. Well, they're saying right now, what I heard a statistic this morning? This is going to blow you away. It said that the Bitcoin is more valuable than gold. That it has an asset value that's that's higher value, estimated higher than gold or silver. This is air. This is something that doesn't even physically exist, but it's changing how we spend it because it's transparent. It allows you to have a decentralized finance situation. Incredible technology. Mentioned earlier, number 13 is our electric vehicles, and they started being introduced in the 2000s. As you may well be aware, I was the number one Mitsubishi salesman in the world in 2001. And we introduced an electric vehicle that was so cheap, but that was so awesome. And the charge was like, and it set the standard. The standard still is about 300 miles per charge with batteries and everything. So that just brought a whole new spectrum of technology into the world with these electric cars. They weigh less because a lot of the mechanisms necessary to propel the vehicle and to give it energy and function are no longer necessary. So you got more space to put, for where you can store stuff and more space to make it more comfortable on the interior. So that's a pretty big deal, the electric vehicles. Now, this is number 14 is kind of a little way different direction than electric vehicles and some of the stuff we've already been talking about. And this is virtual reality. Virtual reality, I don't think, and augmented reality, I don't think people really wrap their heads around exactly how cool this is. So this came out in about 2010. And so it allows you to do gaming, education, training. This technology presents a window, a worldview that is only available to the person wearing them. Now, it's available to anybody that has a set of these goggles, but virtual reality is a whole unbelievable deal. As a part of that is that they're taking some of that virtual reality, putting it into gaming and other stuff. So now we have holograms and stuff that appear real. That's not deep. That's a whole other story. Wearable technology. This is pretty cool. Watches, rings, bracelets, even earrings. There was a charge that in one of the recent debates that one of the candidates had earrings on, and they were feeding her information through that. I mean, wearable technology is pretty cool. So now we can monitor health, and we have connectivity on a daily basis because of the wearable items. Like this right here could be either a microphone or a video camera that we can, or this could be an information input device that just has all this incredible information. 3D printing. They can take and create a gun that actually shoots bullets using this printing technology. So that 3D printing. So deep, I don't even want to try to figure it out. Number 17 is biotechnology advances, like stuff that helped us to get through the COVID. That mRNA, all this. I don't even understand all of that, but that was an innovation that has made the last 50 years. It's just accelerated the process. Number 18 are drones. First they were cute little things, and the kid got the little, airplane, a little drone to fly. Look, I'm flying a girl. But then it became big business. And for the commercial use of drones, you have to get a pilot's license. There's FCC, FTA, and all these different regulations and requirements because it's such an advanced technology. You can, with a drone, I can actually, from a nefarious position, I can use it to spy on people, to get information, to I mean, just crazy stuff. So we're in the Jetsons era right now. Fiber optics, and number 19 is fiber optics and high speed internet. Started in the 70s, but it's advanced to the point now where this high speed. I mean, I've been on computers that were so slow that by the time they load it up so that you can actually work the program, what you were trying to do, the moment has already passed. But today, it's an instantaneous transfer of matter. I used to always want to say that. Instantaneous transfer of matter or information. You press the button and bam, you're talking, you're there. So fiber optics and streaming stuff and high-speed internet has allowed us to be able to now have instant access to the areas that we want to operate in. Number 20. This one, when you see it, you're almost kind of like, oh, you get kind of spooky and scary. Autonomous vehicles that are driverless. On this whole spectrum, this whole process, and this whole platform that we've developed with electric cars and fiber optics and drone technology and smartphones and computers and internet, all that allows us to be able to drive a car remotely, autonomously. So you think about what this means. Trucks, rather than having people right now, they can only drive for so long in a truck, and you have to pull over and get some rest. Because my brother drove trucks for years. I remember here about 4 or 5 years ago, he woke up in somebody's living room. He had fallen asleep, and it went through. Luckily, it didn't hurt anybody or harm anybody. But he's 71 years old right now, and he doesn't need to be driving a truck anymore. But trucks deliver everything. We have a whole global, well, a national infrastructure. When we built our road, if this was 100 years ago, we would put in the national highway system as one of these incredible innovations. But the autonomous vehicles can drive on these freeways because they've mapped it out with the GPS and all of this, and so they know exactly where it doesn't have to pull over and take a rest. It can. So now delivery efficiency is there. So we can stuff is going to be moving all over the place, and all we have to do is consume and utilize it. So the autonomous self-driving cars and trucks promise to transform transportation and logistics. Think about this. You call an autonomous automobile to take you to the airport. It pulls up in front of the house. There's nobody in it. All you do is open the door. It's already paid for. It says, "Good morning, Dr. Mack. I hope you enjoy your trip to the airport." And then you are able to sit back and work. You actually do work, like work from home, work from car, as the car is taking you to your autonomous vehicles. It could be probably the most prolific thing in the entire lineup. But all this stuff is great. Smart home technology is number 21. Smart home where you can, my daughter has got her home is Appleized. It has all the Apple innovations from the doorbell to that smart home where it can maintain the temperature, the climate, the environment. It's going to get rid of odors and smells. It remind this technology. You wake up and the house is actually doing all the work for you. Pretty cool technology. Even down to the fact that it will. You've got uh, uh, vacuum cleaners, robot vacuum cleaners. So when you wake up, the house is clean, your coffee is made, your breakfast is ready, and the news and your everything is wonderful. Your environment is just wonderful. I like it at 78 degrees. I don't like it any hotter. I really don't. Definitely don't want it any cooler. I'm allergic to cold. So this smart home technology allows me to maintain that constant environment. Incredible stuff. Now, number 22 is something that I think that most of us don't even really think about anymore. Well, don't even, they've never thought about it. They can't wrap their head around it, and that's quantum computing. Quanta is something so infinitesimally small that's not recognizable with the naked eye. But quanta and quantum physics, quantum computing, quantum everything is still is in its infancy. But quantum computing tools hold the potential for solving problems beyond the reach of classical computers. Quanta means that this is beyond. I'm not even going to get it. Look that up. Look up quantum computing, quantum physics, and quantum all that. That will blow your mind. I mean, you'll be like, "Whoa! How did we get to the point where we can understand something so infinitesimally small, but that can change the whole reality of our life?" Pretty sharp. Digital cameras and smartphones with cameras. So that's number 23. That was from the 90s to present. So we've been increasing that technology. They said that now this is that new OnePlus. You got 4 cameras, front, back. This is an amazing device. Great pictures, but it revolutionized photography. You could take a better picture with this than with some of the high dollar cameras because the technology and the lensing and everything is so cool. But with this, when you're taking your pictures from here and recording from here, you can share it instantaneously on social media. We talked about social media, but you can share it instantly. High quality images that you can manipulate and that you can go and with AI tools like Canva and what have you, CapCut, you can create this incredible content that's going to allow you as an influencer to get in front of more people. This is a long term because there's 25 different innovations that were made in the last 50 years that have changed the reality. Number 24, space exploration technology, and that started in the 2000s. But you look at what Elon Musk has done with SpaceX. You look at I remember where I was when Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. This is one small step for man, one giant step for mankind. we went to the moon, and that was pretty cool. What I was reluctant to talk about, but interestingly enough, you look at the preponderance of all the authors that I've helped and all the authors that I've read and all the authors that are out there, and the thing that kind of is unique is that each author has its own unique set of fingerprints and mind map and DNA and genes, all unique. So there's something called gene editing where they can determine your genes, so they can have precise So when you look at food, they genetically modify food. So that means that they go in. Scientists are able to go in and they can reverse discover or engineer the setup of the individual or the entity, whatever the DNA that they're looking at. So they're able to go back and find out what is the makeup of it, and based on that, they can alter the forward progression of it. So they can change maybe the color of the eyes. They can change the bulk. They can change the hair texture. They can change the mind, the brain. All of that is a part of that gene editing. So, guys, I've just shared with you 25 unique elements, unique attributes, unique innovations that were introduced in the last 50 years. And I'll go over them quickly once again. The internet, personal computers, mobile phones, and smartphones, GPS, global positioning, artificial intelligence, social media platforms, renewable energy, World Wide Web, e-commerce, gene editing, cloud computing, streaming services, blockchain and cryptocurrency, electric vehicles, virtual reality, wearable technology, biotechnological advances like for vaccines and what have you, 3D printing, drones, fiber optics and high-speed internet, autonomous driverless vehicles, smart home technologies, quantum computing, digital cameras and smartphones with cameras, and finally, space exploration. Now, a couple of honorable mentions I want to just put out there would be video conferencing, and I promise you, that came out in the 2000s. Tools like Zoom, etc. But I promise you this: people that ain't never heard of no Zoom during the pandemic, they were Zoomaholics. They knew how to Zoom. They could zoom in their four-corner room. Y'all, I always wanted to be a singer. I said if I could hit one note, I was going to call Motown, and it was going to be a rap. Another honorable mention would be nanotechnology, where they're able to just take and go down to the so small, but they it's a small, precise innovation, but the results are enormous. And finally, biometric authentication. Now that I left that one for last because that's pretty scary. Biometric authentication. So they can look at my eyes, they can look at my head, they can look at my fingertips, they can look at they can listen to my tone. They can determine. It's like a face ID and a fingerprint for. They know who I am, and they will be able to use this technology to be able to help control the structure of the world, because that's important. Now, these innovations have collectively shaped the modern world, driving unprecedented connectivity, knowledge, and progress. What we want to do is just let you be aware of what has occurred over the last 50 years so that you're saying, oh man, it's so boring. There's nothing new under the sun. Dude, in the last 50 years, we've changed everything from printing to TV to food to travel to entertainment we have changed the world in the last 50 years. We're in the Jetsons age. We're so entrenched. It's amazing. But I say all that to say this: it's time to GPS, get published successfully. Here's the book, Get Published Successfully. And all you need to do, we have room right now. There's seven, I mean, no, sorry, there's 9 slots available. So if you want to be a part and get your book published, and get published successfully in 2024, so that when you enter 2025, you are a published author, join the ranks of all of these, get with me. AskJMac2 at gmail.com. Have an awesome rest of your day. Sorry I took so long.